The rain had just stopped when Marcus Hartwell's sleek black Mercedes pulled up to the intersection. His hand rested on the gear shift, diamond cufflinks catching the late afternoon light, while beside him sat Victoria, polished, perfect, and already planning their engagement party down to the last champagne flute. But the moment his eyes found the crosswalk, his entire world tilted on its axis. There she was, Emma, walking slowly, deliberately holding the hands of two identical little girls who couldn't have been more than 4 years old. Their matching yellow raincoats bounced with each step, their dark curls, his curls, escaping from beneath their hoods. Time didn't just stop. It shattered into 1,000 glittering pieces, each one reflecting a truth Marcus had spent 5 years running from. "Marcus, the light's green." Victoria's voice seemed to come from another dimension, entirely. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe, because those children had his eyes, storm gray, unusual, unmistakable. And Emma, the woman he'd walked away from when ambition mattered more than love, was crossing that street as if she carried the weight of the world. On her shoulders, that should have been on his. "I need to—" The words caught in his throat as Emma glanced up, and their eyes met through the windshield. He watched the color drain from her face, watched her grip on the girl's hands tighten, watched her make a decision in real time to keep walking, faster now, as if she could outrun this moment. "You need to what?" Victoria turned to look at what had captured his attention. "Who is that woman?" Marcus was already opening the car door. "Marcus!" Victoria's shock rippled through the car, but he was already out, already moving, his expensive Italian shoes splashing through puddles as he caught up to Emma on the opposite sidewalk. "Emma, wait, please." She stopped. Her shoulders rose and fell with a deep breath before she turned around. The girls hid partially behind her legs, peering up at him with curiosity and caution that broke something fundamental inside his chest. "Hi," one of them whispered. "Lily Sophie, stay close to Mommy," Emma said softly, her voice steady in a way that told him she'd practiced this composure, rehearsed staying strong even when the ground gave way beneath her feet. "Emma, Marcus looked down at the girls, then back at her face. The face he used to trace with his fingertips in the early morning light. "How long?" 5 years next month." Her chin lifted slightly, that old defiance he'd loved flickering in her expression. "We're late for their dance class." "They're mine." It wasn't a question. It couldn't be. The evidence was staring up at him with his own eyes, his own stubborn chin. "They're mine," Emma corrected, her voice quiet but firm. "You made your choice, Marcus. You chose your empire over everything else. You don't get to show up now and—" "I didn't know!" The words exploded from him, drawing glances from passing pedestrians. He lowered his voice. "Emma, I swear to God I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me?" Her laugh was bitter, brittle. "I tried. You wouldn't take my calls. Your assistant said you were transitioning your personal life to match your new position as CEO. I got the message, Marcus, loud and clear." Behind them, he heard Victoria's heels clicking on the pavement, approaching. Emma's eyes flicked past him, taking in the tall blonde woman in designer clothes, the expensive car idling with its door open, the picture of the life Marcus had chosen instead. "Is everything all right here?" Victoria's tone was pleasant but threaded with steel. "Everything's fine," Emma said quickly. "We were just leaving. Come on, girls." "Wait." Marcus reached out but stopped himself, his hand hanging in the air between them. "Please, can we talk? Really talk?" Lily, or maybe Sophie. He couldn't tell them apart yet, and that realization cut deep, tugged on Emma's sleeve. "Mommy, my feet hurt." Without thinking, Marcus crouched down. "Would you like me to carry you?" The little girl looked at her mother, seeking permission. Emma's face was a study in conflict, fear and longing and anger all warring for dominance. Finally, she gave a tiny nod. The moment that small weight settled into his arms, Marcus felt something fundamental shift in his universe. She smelled like strawberry shampoo and childhood innocence, and she studied his face with an intensity that reminded him of his own mother. "You have sad eyes," she observed. "Like Mommy sometimes." Victoria made a small sound behind him. "Marcus, we really should—" "Victoria!" He turned to look at his fiancée. This woman he'd convinced. Himself he loved because she fit perfectly into the life he'd built. I'm sorry. I need to do this. Do what, exactly? Her expression was cooling rapidly, understanding beginning to dawn. Figure out what I should have figured. Out 5 years ago. He met her eyes honestly. You deserve better than someone who's about to turn his entire life upside down. Victoria stared at him for a long moment, then at Emma, then at the children. Whatever she saw there made her shoulders drop. You really didn't know about them, did you? No. She nodded slowly, then did something that surprised him. She stepped forward and addressed Emma directly. I hope he's better for you than he would have been for me. I hope you all get what you deserve. She slipped the engagement ring off her finger and pressed it into Marcus's free hand. Goodbye, Marcus. I hope you figure it out this time. They watched her walk back to the Mercedes, slide into the driver's seat, and pull away from the curb. The car disappeared into traffic, taking with it the future Marcus had been driving toward just 10 minutes ago. Her name is Sophie, Emma said quietly. She's the brave one. Lily's the thoughtful one. She reached for her daughter. Sophie, honey, come back to Mommy now. But he's warm, Sophie protested, snuggling into Marcus's chest. I know, baby. But we don't really know him. Those words landed like a physical blow. She was right. He was a stranger to his own children. He'd missed their first words, their first steps. 4 years of birthdays and scraped knees and bedtime stories. A rage at himself so intense it made him dizzy swept through him. I want to know them, he said hoarsely. Emma, please. I want to know them. I want to— His voice broke. I want to know what I did to you. Leaving you alone. Pregnant. I want to know so I can spend the rest of my life making it right. Emma's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. You can't just fix this with money, Marcus. I know. He carefully set Sophie down, then knelt on the wet sidewalk in his $1,000 suit, not caring who saw. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking you to let me try to be what I should have been 5 years ago. Let me be their father. Let me support you the way I should have from the beginning. Mommy, why is the man crying? Lily whispered loudly. Because he's realizing what he lost, sweetheart, Emma said. But her voice had softened fractionally. Marcus looked up at her. Rain starting to fall again, mixing with the tears on his face. I lost everything that mattered. But if you give me a chance, just a chance, I'll spend every day proving that I've finally learned what's actually worth fighting for. Emma was quiet for a long moment, studying his face, perhaps looking for the man she'd once loved beneath the billionaire veneer. Finally, she pulled a pen from her purse and grabbed his hand, writing a phone number on his palm. This is my number. It's different from before. She met his eyes steadily. Call me tomorrow. Not tonight. Tonight I need to think. But tomorrow we'll talk about what this might look like. Not for us, Marcus. That ship sailed. But for them, he agreed, his hand closing around the number like a lifeline. Bye-bye, Sophie waved as Emma led them away. Marcus stood on that corner long after they'd disappeared, rain soaking through his suit, his old life puddled around his feet. In his hand, ink was already starting to run, but he'd already memorized those numbers. They were the most important thing he'd ever been given. His phone buzzed. His assistant, wondering where he was, why he'd missed his afternoon meetings. His board of directors, waiting for decisions. His empire, demanding attention. He looked down at the numbers on his palm and smiled through his tears. Let them wait.